know, it kind of goes hand in hand with basketball. Like, we stay in shape and we train and stay in shape for 10-month seasons. And then, that was the second part of it. So for me, to help people with their underlying issues, and get them in shape and have them understand, the necessary things to be in shape was a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I see you get a lot of people out there. You get some real good feedback. Now, right now, we're obviously going through this quarantine. In a normal setting, do you have people in a facility usually?
No, we do all outside work. The gyms were closed throughout the whole COVID, madness. So we couldn't, bring people to the gym because gyms was closed. So what we did was, the brothers that we started with was for us. We continued to work outside. You know, they came and shut the parks down, and we continued to do stuff like, outside of the bar.
Yeah.
And then when, once they kind of opened it back up, we just started multiplying. Like, people started coming like, all right, I'm going to work out. I want to work out. I like what y'all doing. And it just started growing, rapidly growing. And we just continued to build.
Yeah. Yeah. You get a lot of people, and that's great, man. Like, it's so hard to get people to buy in consistently to health and wellness. And you can speak to that. Like, you could get people to do it 1 or 2 times and they'll be excited, but it's hard to get people to consistently go and like stay focused to those goals and really buy into health and wellness processes with nutrition and training. So that's good to see that you consistently doing that, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. But it was relatively easy, because you gotta think, they took everything away from people.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying? COVID took everything away from people. You couldn't hang out. You couldn't go to work. You couldn't go to school. So now you trying to find out things that you can do, like, So I think for us, that was very much beneficial, because you only could do a certain amount of things, like few things. So why not? And then the energy that we provide up there was crazy. So it was contagious. Isn't like that enthusiasm, all that type of stuff was like, oh, wow, like I want to be a part of that. And then you know how it is. Once you see people buying into something, they want to be a part of it. And it's to consistently see us grow and grow and grow and get bigger and get bigger. So now, like I said, everybody's looking forward to coming to work out, even if it's for one time. But, you got to people who come on a consistent basis, which is every day, because we do Monday through Sunday. We don't take no days off.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I've been taking notice of that. And obviously, whatever it is that you guys are doing is keeping people interested and focused to doing so and wanting to come back. So that's one of the hardest things I've been doing. I've been in the health and wellness space for almost 13 years. The hardest part is getting people to buy in consistently, and I can see that you got something going there. So that's kudos to you. Shout out, salute.
Thank you.
But let me just preface this, because to my audience, and I'm gonna put this out on my platform so people know. So this is Marcus Hatton. Marcus Hatton's at St. John's. All Big East, both years that you were at St. John's, right? First team Big East, averaged 20 points a game, which is unbelievable. And I had Carl Krauser and some other Big East guys on here before, and we like to use the term the real Big East.
Right.
Absolutely. The real Big East. That's no diss to anybody. My little cousin just graduated from Providence. He played there, and I always tease him. I'm like, bro, it's cool. And I had Chris Jenkins on a couple weeks ago. Went over. I'm like, what y'all did is love, but in my era, that was the real Big East. You had dudes like Marcus Hatton out there murdering, putting up crazy numbers. But before you went to St. John's, you were at Tallahassee Community College. Now, coming out of Baltimore, and I think this is important for a lot of people, because Baltimore has a bad rap. Some of it for good reason. A lot of it, I think, is just misconceptions. Give me your opinion, just from coming up from East Baltimore and then making that transition to Tallahassee Community.
A lot of us don't have the resources, or didn't have the resources. A lot of us didn't know. So, like, you can really say, like, it's sort of like a lower level of ignorance.
Yeah.
Because if we don't know, then we are geared towards what we know. Like, and that keeps us in survival mode. The toughest thing about East Baltimore, or Baltimore in itself, like, like we don't just, listen to anybody. So, like, somebody's trying to give us some vital information. Oh, I don't know, man. Like, what he want to tell me this information for? So we on a defense most of the time. So by us not really knowing and having a relationship, or really that understanding of, people trying to really genuinely help you, that keep us on the defense. So, like I said, Baltimore is a survival town. Like, that's the number 1, 2, and 3 things that you have to have. So people are stayed in a survival mode. That's because that's all they know.
Right.
And when it's time to adapt to different situations or get out your comfort zone, we don't know how to understand that. Like, it makes no sense to us because that ain't what we accustomed to.
Right.
So, like, I was fortunate to learn how to adapt, and I learned how to adapt on the fly. It wasn't so much that I knew X, Y, and Z, and that was a gift and a curse for me because that's what really prevented me from being an NBA player because. I didn't know, like, nobody taught me the business side. Nobody taught me the professionalism side. Nobody taught me that. I didn't know. Nobody extended their hand and say, yo, you about to go to the league and they ain't looking for this cornrow or bandana wearing or whatever the case may be. So if you don't have an understanding of that, then you behind the 8 ball, even so more because I wasn't projected to be top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So not having to understand that, you go to what you know. Like, sure, all right, I know I can play basketball. All right, they will come get me. But not knowing it's 999,000 more people just like you that can play basketball, that want the same position and go and have the sacrifices. They're going to be willing to make the sacrifices.
Right.
All right, if I got to do it this way, I'm going to do it this way till I get it. Like for instance, Chris Duhon. No knock on Chris Duhon, but he knew prior to, like, all right, I got to sacrifice. And then he got a 10-year NBA career.
Yeah.
Like, certain people just understand it more than Baltimore guys. And the thing about Baltimore guys, we feel like, yo, we gonna do it our way, and that's what hurt us. That's what handicaps us.
Yeah, and I feel like, to your point, and you mentioned Duhan, somebody right now, and I always say this, and just shout out to him. I know him. He's good people. I know his family. Quinn Cook is another example of that. He's not ultra talented, but he understands the business. He understands relationships. He understands how to establish himself as an NBA player. He's from the DMV area, so I think that's an excellent point that you made with that.
Absolutely, it's more so prevalent now than it even was back then, because that's what really keep people in a league now. It ain't your talent; it's potential in relationships.
Yeah.
So if you understand those 2 things, like, some of the kids that I train now, they like, I said, it ain't so much about what you're able to do right now. It's about what they think you're going to be projected to be.
Yeah.
And then also, who do you know, or how can they help you, or are you giving them are you keeping a good reputation with these guys who got, great relationships? And like I said, once again, I didn't know that. Honestly, for real, I didn't care to know it.
Yeah.
I think that was another thing with me, because I'm like, man, I can play basketball. All right, they know I can play. I'm going to go out here and show, and then you playing in Madison Square Garden on a nightly basis. You playing against the best talent on a nightly basis. So you don't have no choice but to get seen. Like, once again, I had to learn the hard way. Allen Iverson, for example. Allen Iverson was $1 billion entity. They can give him $500 million because they know they're gonna make $1 billion or $2 or $3 billion off of, and they can deal with everything that comes with him. Marcus Hatton, you're not $1 billion entity, so we don't have to deal with the baggage that comes along with you.
Right.
So just the understanding of that was like, as I got older, like, it took me a little longer than the kids now. So I understand it now, but I don't regret anything. I do. Like, I wish if I do regret anything, it's just maturity level.
Yeah. Well, bro, like, I was thinking as I was doing my little bit of research on you and stuff like that, I'm thinking, like, and remembering how you played in our era, when you look at the game today,
right.
Played today, bro, you would be an elite prospect with today's NBA. I'm sure you heard that before, right?
A good brother of mine, Andre Stanley, he just told me, he said, bro, yo, you was 10 years too early, yo.
Yeah.
He said, you was 10 years too early. And I was like, like I said, man, I just understand life and, how it goes. And the best thing that I can do, with the time that I have left, or why I'm still relevant to most of the kids, is just give them the game. Like, let them know, like, look, you don't have that luxury of thinking that, I can wait till that time. Now is the time, because that window is so small, especially if you want to be a professional athlete. That window is small and it goes quick.
Right.
So, like, you got to be willing to sacrifice and get in there, and then you can do everything else once you get in there. Once you in there, then you good. But prior to, You gotta do everything. Like, you know, you gotta take advantage of every opportunity.
Right. That's facts, bro. And speaking of that, like, so, you know, you didn't have, you know, a crazy NBA career, but you probably have one of the most storied, successful professional careers in general. You played, what, 15 years?
15.
That's crazy, bro. Like, what I saw, like, when I looked, Greece, Italy.
Right.
Bro, you were like Carmen Sandiego over there. Like,
Right. I mean, that comes with the love of the game, though. Like, you know, like in my life, I never planned on being anything else. Like, you know, I had no vision of being or going to work at somebody's job 9 to 5, running a business or any. I had no vision of doing anything like that. I just loved the game so much that, like, you know, it was times where, you know, when I didn't get drafted, that was really tough. It's like, yo, it wasn't 30 or however many draft picks. It wasn't 40 people better than you in 03.
Yeah.
And you don't get drafted. All right, so now what? Like, you know, it was like really like, yo, this is what you want to do for the rest of your life? Make the most out of it. Like, so, you know, going overseas and really the first 3 years, it was like, all right, I'm going over here, get my money, come back home. After like my 4th year, 5th year, it was like, yo, just embrace the culture, enjoy it because you're not going to get this opportunity ever again.
Right.
Not too many people will be able to live in Europe and have that experience and live in these different countries and like, yo, I learned this or I understood that and this, that, and third. So after my 4th or 5th year, I started to buy into like, you know, where I was at, take advantage of it and enjoy it.
Right.
And like, you know, once I started, you know, time, like I said, time goes fast, right? So you 25, then you 31, then you 34, like, and then, you know, keeping up with these young kids is like, whoa, like, all right, you ain't as quick as you used to be. You can't jump as high as you used to get. So, like, you really start playing the game from the mind standpoint, like, you know, on the IQ standpoint. And then you show from time to time that you can still keep up with the young guys because, you know, that's the part of the game. That's the brotherhood of the game. And it's a beautiful thing because now you're teaching.
Right.
So it ended up, for me, the transition was easier like after basketball and mentoring kids and coaching kids. Like, I don't stress about it. Like you know, kids won't, because I was one of those kids. So I understood that. Like, they ain't gonna really buy into what you say right away.
Yeah.
They're gonna test you. So all right, you don't get emotional. You ain't worried about you know what they talk about. Just figure out a way how to like communicate with them, and then you'll be good. You're gonna communicate with. I'm gonna say out of break, like I'm good with communicating with like 50 to 60% of my kids. The other 40% is hell.
Yeah.
But that's the challenge, though. You know, because once again, the beautiful thing, I was a player. I understood where they try and go. I know what it takes to get there. So.
Yeah, and they respect that, and you come from where they come from. So
absolutely.
It ain't nothing they can tell you.
Absolutely. But still, like, you know, they still have to have their own experiences because, you know, most kids in my mentoring program, this is what they mentioned to me. They said, you know, our parents or y'all just think y'all supposed to tell us what to do, but y'all don't understand where we come from.
Yeah.
I was like, what? What y'all talking about? And, you know, they said, well, y'all think y'all know what's best for us, but y'all not going through what we go through emotionally. Y'all not going through what we go through physically and all that stuff. So, you know, you have to be a willing listener to be able to teach. Like, that has to be the number one thing, and then you have to have patience.
Yeah, and that's some real stuff to hear that from a kid, man. You know, 15, 16, 17-year-old.
No, 8. Let's not even give, like, 8 years old.
Oh, 8 years old. Wow.
I got kids who's 8 years old who's so traumatized that they can't figure out past the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how like, even if you're interacting with sports, like, you take their mind off of it for 2 hours, then they got to go back to their reality. And their reality is their mother might be working so hard, father might be in prison or dead, and they got to babysit their 4-year-old brother at 8 years old.
Wow.
Like, that's not a kid.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You put responsibilities on these young kids at such an early age, and then when they come to play basketball, how can they have 100% focus on being a basketball player when they already have responsibilities at such a young age? Like, we had we was free. Like, we ain't had to worry about all our thought process was to get us out the hood. Like, I'm getting out here through basketball. They don't have that luxury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, that's crazy, man. Yeah, and I saw you like you got anointed like the basketball director of player development for the AAU team out here.
Team Thrill, yeah.
Team Thrill, okay. I thought so, yeah. How's that going?
You know, like that's one of those relationships. It's great because I get to see the kids, and now it's even better because, like, I'm home more so now, right? Um, it's a challenge because they've been with my brother Darnell Dobbs, we go by Coach Mookie. They've been with them for so long that somebody who comes in is just like we don't really know him yet. We hear stories about him, but he ain't been through it with us. So it's just it's timing.
Yeah.
But they have one of the best programs in all of America. Like, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard of it.
They have a great program. Like, he does an amazing job with the kids. He does the best. He gets the best out of his kids. Like, each and every season. So, that in itself is a testament. He's labeled as one of the most, I think, top 50 most influential people in basketball. So it's great for him, man.
Yeah. Last summer, I sponsored a team. I lived out in Philly for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I got relationships with people out there, and I sponsored a team in Rudy Gay's tournament last summer.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I don't know if you and y'all. Did y'all have a team in that tournament?
I don't know what tournament Rudy Gay had, but I wouldn't be. I can't be 100% sure and say yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. But
yeah, okay. Yeah, we won it. We won like every game by like 30. It was crazy.
Oh wow!
I put together some crazy talent because I didn't realize that his tournament is kind of on a come up.
Right.
And I'm thinking like, all right, Rudy's putting on for the city. I'm gonna get my best kids. And I saw him after the tournament, like we was out somewhere. He was like, man, don't ever bring them kids back to my tournament again. But we won like every game by like 30, 40 points, man. It was crazy. But yeah, so out of Baltimore, you decided to go to community college. Like, was that more of a situation where something that you had to do, or like what was the situation with that? Was it grades or?
Yeah, once again, that was not knowing, like I said, like just relying solely on basketball talent.
Yeah.
From my 11th grade year to my 12th grade year, they had changed it from 70 to being passed to 60. So I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, I ain't got to do too much, right? And also didn't understand, like, that's really hindering you. Like, when it's time for you to graduate the 12th grade, like, you don't have the grades for it. Like, you got a 2.1 and you need 1,000 on the SAT.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, 1,000? Like, so how can I focus on choosing school? But also too, like a lot of people don't know, like I didn't have so many like offers coming out of high school.
Oh no?
No, like and my numbers was crazy in high school. Like I averaged down there triple double in high school, but I didn't have so many offers coming from high school. Like I didn't play in a lot of the big tournaments. I only played AU ball. I did go play at ABCD, but I didn't play really well. So like that could have been like, oh, this kid is skinny. I don't see how he can help and bop bop bop. And I had a guy by the name of Renard Smith, who actually, believed in my abilities. And he's like, look, this is what you can do. I got a couple prep schools that I have friends with or relationship with. And I got a couple junior college schools, or you can, like, I think Morgan State or something. And I'm like, look, I don't want to go to prep school. I'm tired of playing high school basketball. I don't think it can help me no more. Send me to junior college. These guys are going to be stronger, faster, better, and that's going to make it work. All right. Which one do you want to go to? I got this one. I got that one. He named about three. I think it was Allegheny, Hutchinson, and Tallahassee. So I'm like, all right, bet. I go to Hutchinson. I'm like, oh, I'm not going out here. It's a barnyard. Like, I'm talking about literally a barnyard. I said, I'm not going out here.
Like Kansas or something?
Huh?
Where's that school at?
Kansas, yeah. Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas, right? Yeah.
Because that's where they held the tournament at. I'm like, I am not going out here. Heck no. Like, all they had to offer was that that's where the NJCAA tournament was. That's all. All right. So now I go to Tallahassee, and there was a brother by the name of Kevin Smith who was supposed to be there with me. And God bless his soul, like, he had a tragedy, like lost his life driving the car, coming back to Baltimore, and that nipped that in the bud. And then when I went there, hello.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, so when I went there, like I felt it. I was like, this is the place. So I went there. Mike Gillespie was the coach. We still got a good relationship, like even till now, and it was really good.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, this was the fit. Like this was it. And then, when that happened, everybody started coming. After my first 10 games, Cincinnati, Bobby Huggins, Larry Stacey at Iowa State, Florida State was coming, Leonard Hamilton, Miami, UConn, St. John's, DePaul with Pat Kennedy. So it was so many people who just started buying into, they were able to see it. And I was like, wow. And it was coming, just to, oh, we really interested in you. So it was good.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Good.
So it was good because now I was able to be seen. Now I got my picks and where I want to go. So, my first year was really good. I finished third in MVP as a freshman, made first team. And then the second year, it was same thing. Indiana started coming with Mike Davis at the time. Had Jared Jeffries. They went to the championship.
Yeah, I remember that.
Georgia Tech. It was a ton of schools that came basically. None of those schools came to me at high school. And I was like, all right, cool, let's go. Went to St. John's, went to Houston for a visit, went to South Florida for a visit, and I went to DePaul for a visit. After, I think DePaul was my last visit, I was like, I ain't going nowhere. I already know I'm going to St. John's, and that's what it was. And the sad thing about St. John's is I never got the opportunity to play with Omar Cook.
Yeah, OC.
And honestly, for real, I wasn't looking forward to playing with Omar because I was going to make the best out of the situation anyway. Yeah. But seeing him prior to watching their games and seeing how good of a point guard he was, I was like, you know what, this will be something great. Yeah. But we never got to happen because, we didn't never really get to talk to kind of yo, I'm coming with the idea of playing, we be in the backcourt. So we talked about that after the fact. I mean, after my, going towards the end of my first year. And it's yo, if I knew X, Y, and Z, then we would have but you know how it goes.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, me and Omar played from 13, 12 years old. We played AAU Gauchos.
Mm-hmm.
That was my guy. I haven't heard from him in years.
He's still playing.
He's still playing?
He's still playing. He's playing. He's still playing.
That's what's up, man. That's good.
Yeah, he's playing high level, too. I think he might be still on the EuroLeague team.
Damn. That's good, man. He's always had a hard work ethic, too, so I'm not surprised.
But I think people undervalue that about him.
Yeah.
I think they think he's that kid who feel like, he had a silver spoon. And, I think people underestimated, how hard he worked and how good of a, and I played, and pick up with him a couple of times, and I was mesmerized by how good he was, how high his IQ was.
Yeah.
We played against each other a couple of times, but, playing against him or playing, five, it was different.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a good player, man. And I also noticed you went to St. John's. Bootsy Thornton, you friends with him, right?
Absolutely.
And he went to St. John's too, right?
We had the same exact path.
Yeah,
he went to Tallahassee. He went to St. John's. But he also helped make the transition better. It was just a conversation yo, look, go there. Here's what you want. He gonna let you go. Job's gonna let you go, but you gotta be the. I was like, all right, cool, bet. Well, hold on.
That's cool. I'm with you. I'm here.
Yeah. So, that was it.
I'm still here with you, big dog. All
right.
Yeah. Yeah. How's he doing, Bootsy?
He's doing good. He's in Florida. He's he's good on the business aspect, and it was it was all well.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. Yeah, I remember I went to the University of South Carolina, and went through a whole transfer process.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go to St. John. My man Mike Jarvis.
Right.
It was his son, right? His son was on the staff with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And your man Durham.
Yeah.
My guy, like Mike Deuce was assistant coach. Kevin Clark and Durham. Durham was my guy, man.
Yeah. And did you play with Glove and Glover?
Yeah, Ab Glove. That's my brother.
Yeah, that was my guy. Me and Glove came up
my
together.
years.
Yeah, but I remember Mike Jarvis, man. He was something else, man. He was a great coach. He was tough. People said he was tough to play for, though. You like playing with him?
He was good in his like thing about Jarvis, like he always equated it to like life skill, like things that happen in life, like what I'm saying, like he was really good in that aspect, like like whatever you got going on, like life is this and basketball and life is basically the same, and like he was one of those type of coaches, like he wasn't hard for like demanding, like what I'm saying, like he was laid back. Deuce was really the one who was really the practice guy who would take over practice and push us and Durham and those guys. But Jarvis, he wasn't hard to play
for at all. Yeah. And just like I ask every Big East guy, especially ones that played in that era, who was your toughest guard, your toughest person to guard at the time when you played?
It's funny because we just had this conversation, like, it's night in and night out because you're getting different things from different guards. Like you might play Ben Gordon tonight, and you got Troy Bell 2 nights from there. Then you got Chris Thomas, then you got Carl Chowder and Brandon Knight and Julius Page, and then you got John Salmon, you got Marcus Barnes, you got McNamara, like you got so many people who was really, really good, like know what I'm saying. I would have to say the toughest person I would have to guard. For me, honestly, it was 2 people who had really, really good games against me, and that was Ben Gordon and Brandon Knight.
Yeah.
I could not. Brandon was nothing special. Like I'm talking about hard to guard with the ball. Like when he come off them screens and he was shooting the ball so well, and it was tough for me to defend coming off screens. Yeah. And that's where that's where his coach. I think that was the strength and like the greatness in his coach because he recognized that.
Yeah. I think a lot of
Troy Bell was really good because he knew how to draw fouls really well.
Yeah.
Ben Gordon was just a scorer on all levels. He can get to the basket. He can mid-range. He can shoot threes. He can get to the free throw line. So it's just tough.
Yeah. It's fact. Somebody back then I thought was real underrated was Quincy Dobie. Remember him at the Rutgers?
But he was he came after me though.
Oh, he came a little after you? Oh, okay.
Because Jerome Coleman was there.
Okay.
Like he was there, like what I'm saying, he was pretty good. Like what I'm saying, like he was the one that was there before like Quincy Dobie. Like Quincy Dobie came the year after us and tore it up.
Yeah, bro.
He was amazing. Yeah. Man,
he was a lot like you with that.
Yeah. Like he even took it to another level. Like on that essence, like what I'm saying. So far as like when people say me, because like Ben Gordon made a great point when he said to me, he was like, the difference between me, him, and AI was he was more efficient.
Say that again?
He was more efficient.
Yeah.
Like like me and AI, we'd go on runs. Like we'd go 25, we might be 9 for 17.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna be 9 for 15 or 9 for 14.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was the thing that he made a great point that, a lot of kids didn't really understand. Like, but like you said, if you look at it now, that's normal. And then NBA, 9 for 17 is a great shooting night. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody really too keen about you going 9 for 14 or 9 for 12.
Right.
Like, you gotta get them shots. Hold on.
Yeah. Good.
So, like I said, like you said, the Big East now and the Big East then is totally different. The physicality is different, but you have some unique guards. Like for instance, Shamari Pons, which was really good. I wish he would have came back to finish out because I think what would sold him would have been his storybook career, like his college career. Yeah. He would finish first in he probably would have finished first in almost every category in St. John's. but you're so in a rush. Like I said, I don't understand how 6 months from now, or 8 months from, or even 10, let's say 10 months from now, anything is different. Like if you ain't have no money now, then you can wait another 10 months because you ain't never had no money. Like, so you're in a rush because you're like, all right, people saying now, this, that, and the third, but come back. Like, you got to taste the tournament a little bit this year, but you ain't really get in. You know what I'm saying? So you come back, it wouldn't have been no different. Then you leave it now, you put yourself in the same, him and Omar got the same story, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, you rushing to make short money.
Yeah. Basically, like, if he'd have came out, so he would have came back this year, which would have been tough because of the whole COVID thing, but nobody could have predicted that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, man.
There you go. But like you said, like, now it's going to be about determination. Like, will, like, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to continue to work, like, for that opportunity because that window gets a little smaller?
Right. That's facts, yeah. And you got to play the long game, man. Like, you got to be smart. And I just don't see a lot of that these days. When I did one of these with an agent the other day, and he straight up told me, bro, we don't get involved in the whole morality aspect of it. Like, is it morally right for this kid to leave? Is it like he was like, if a kid contacts us and they said that they're gonna declare, no matter what the situation is, they'll reach out. If they're gonna be projected first round, because all agents care about is that first 3 years or that signing bonus. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Crazy. But see, that's the game. That's understanding the game. Like, I tell people that all the time. Like, you can't, like, if he's in there to make money, and he got 10 clients, like, his focus can't solely be on you because he got 9 other clients.
Right.
So, like, I kind of thought about doing it, but it was too much for me because, when you dealing with people you got a relationship with, they're like, yo, bro, I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do. I understand the nature of the game. Right. I can't force these people to say, sign you. And a lot of the people who come to me for real, the people who haven't played basketball in the last 2 or 3 years. So I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, this is what the feedback is. This is what they looking for. If they don't jump at you, because of what I do know is if they're interested, they're gonna hit on paperwork.
Right.
Oh, we're interested. Look, this is what we got to offer you.
Right.
If they gonna string you along, they say, yeah, we really like him. We gonna, keep him, and they'll keep playing that game to keep you on the string.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you ever get Kill Carr, who's out there? You cool with him?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How did that mentorship go with him? Like, did he ever come to you throughout his process or what?
See, he was kind of like larger than life. Like, you know what I'm saying, at his time from high school and, going through his thing. Because at that time I was in Italy. And when they was talking about him having a deal, the deal wasn't on the table. And I'm asking my agent, I'm asking team, I'm like, yo, the deal. And he said, listen, let me ask you this. I said, for any kid that's 17, 18 years old, somebody offer him $750,000, what do you do?
Yeah.
Take it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because the NBA, overseas, they all working together, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So if they know that, let's say this team is offering you $750,000, then they know where you at on their board.
Right.
But like I said, it sounds good. Everything that people like, yo, this, that, and third. All right. So then it comes to the point where people still talking about you. The fame is coming. Everybody saying, yo, you this, you that. It's tough to deal with that. It's tough to really like weed out what's for you and what's not, because 80% of the people telling you the best thing since sliced bread. 10% of that 20% that's left is telling you what you need to hear.
Right.
The other 10% is just like, all right, I'm gonna let him do his own thing.
Right.
So you tell me mathematically what makes sense to a kid who's 17 years old. If 80% of these people telling him that he's the best thing since sliced bread and he's worth 10 million or 100 million, what you think he gonna do? Which way you think he gonna follow? If that 10% is telling him, yo, you need to work on this, so you ain't strong enough, or you need to do this, so X, Y, Z, man, you hating, or you doing this.
Right.
And that ain't so much hating is just reality of it all. Because one thing I know about NBA and overseas, if they want you, they gonna come get you.
Right. Yeah, and I know he signed with Seton Hall, right? And he never went there.
I don't even know if he actually signed. I don't have knowledge of exactly what happened during that situation. We did have a conversation about it. I can say I wish he would have got that college experience.
Yeah.
I think that was the one thing that he did need. That would have really put it in perspective for him.
Right.
Whether he was ready or not. And the rest would have been history.
Right. Yeah. Well, bro, I'm gonna just close out with I know you got your mentorship program out in Baltimore. Just talk about that real quick to end it, man. Just talk to us about what you're doing with that.
The beautiful thing about that is I was still relevant. I'm still relevant to the kids.
Yeah.
Right. So my whole thing was how I get their attention. 90% of the kids that I mentor love basketball.
Mm.
That was my catching point. That was my selling point. So now once you get into them, like when I first started, I was like trying to tell them what to do, X, Y, and Z, and it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Then I started listening. I started asking them things like, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? And they start pouring out. And then when they start seeing me on a consistent basis, I ain't got no food, or I can't focus, or X, Y, and Z. So now I started to get to the core of it all. Like, damn, like we talking about sports, and it's way deeper than that.
Yeah.
So to really be able to help them get out of a dark place in their life was monumental for me. That was the satisfaction for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I can do this. Like, I can do this for like forever, like, the rest of my life. And then, I was like, okay, I'm going to use my relationship. So I would take them to St. John's games. I would take them to DC. I would take them out to eat. I would take them to do certain things that they wasn't accustomed to. And, that's how, that's what it was for me. It was like, showing them something different because they so acclimated and so used to where they grew up at, their neighborhood. That's the most important thing to them. Oh, I'm representing 1700 X, Y, and Z. I'm representing East Baltimore. I'm representing West Baltimore. Yo, you ever been to Philly? No. You ever been to DC? What? Where's that? You ever been to New York? What? Not going to New York. Like, we see y'all haven't been exposed to that. So it's foreign to y'all. And I was the same way. I was my neighborhood this, my neighborhood that, like whatever. Until I started going, like even when I went to St. John, I was home every weekend. Because I was out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I wasn't exploring New York. Like I wasn't going to Dykeman or I wasn't
It's
going
weird to me because I feel like a lot of people will go to St. John's because they want that New York life. But you didn't even care about that. You just wanted to be home.
Right. A kid about playing basketball, have my homies up there watching me play basketball and going around the way after the game. That's it. That's what but that's the Baltimore mentality.
Yeah.
Like, that's what 80% of the kids want. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we don't understand the trauma that these kids go through because what they see more consistently, hustling, drug dealing, murders and stuff like that, rapping, people talking about how they did this and X, Y, and Z. They don't have the luxury of seeing kids or guys from Baltimore go to college like I did. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we had Boosie to watch. Oh, Boosie play at 8 o'clock. I'm going to the house. I'll make sure I watch him. Shantae Rogers, Mark Karcher, Johnny Hemsley. The list goes on. Kwame Evans. The list goes on and on to be motivated by that. All they see is Lil Boosie, Lil Baby, and all these type of rappers and whoever's hustling. That's what they accustomed to. That's what they glorify. Because, from in Baltimore, the last 10 to 12 years, I can't name you 5 players that, on a college level that will have people wanting to go in there and watch them play. Like, we're still stuck on Melo and now Will Barton, which is the luxury that we have. Those 2 guys are in the NBA.
Right. Yeah. Nah, you're exactly right, man. I feel like the culture is different. It's not the same culture. Like, you and I are the same age, and I know when we came up, basketball was different, just how you explained it. So that's excellent that you're doing that for these kids, man, because I think getting different perspective and seeing things outside of their purview, I think that's the key. So
absolutely. So, to answer your question, why I chose the mentor was to guide these kids on the right track, like, put them on, give them perspective of that they can be more than, their neighborhood. So
Yeah.
you be more than just Baltimore. Like, the world is huge. Like, you can explore the world. You have the opportunity, you have the ability to leave your mark on any part of the world. So, that's what my mentor program was geared towards. It wasn't just, oh, he played basketball, the kids want to be up. But no, you guys can be better than I was.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think there's a better person to tell them than you. So